everyone. Welcome to 20 Somethings TV. I'm Rachel. I'm here with Dan and Nate. And, I feel like the main topic that's constantly on everyone's minds is COVID-19, and we're not stopping that today. So there's a lot to talk about with COVID. But before we get into COVID chaos, let's talk about Pablo Escobar. In particular, his hippos that have been increasingly populating in Colombia and possibly disrupting the ecosystem. Dan, could you tell us a little about that?
Yep. So, as we know, Pablo Escobar is one of the biggest drug kingpins of all time. He controlled the Medellin cartel and amassed a fortune that is greater than some of the tech billionaires in the U.S. today. And so, when you have that much money and you have ties in the black market who are familiar with smuggling, what do? You buy exotic animals, and so that's what Pablo Escobar did. He bought giraffes, lions, hippos, and brought them all to his estate in Colombia. And so when Pablo Escobar was killed in 1993, they did send people to take away most of the animals, but nobody could figure out how to get rid of the hippos. They're very aggressive, very big creatures, and they will kill humans very easily. So basically, over time, the hippos escaped into a local river called the Magdalena River and started populating in that river. They started off with about 4 hippos, and now they have about an estimated 80 in the river. And I mean, there's been kind of a local outcry. People are kind of under the belief that they're destroying the ecosystem. And I mean, they survive fine there because it's very comparable to their habitats in Africa. So really, people are trying to figure out a humane way to get rid of them, because if they are causing problems with the ecosystem, then they don't want them to be around and keep populating and there to be more of them. But nobody can really find a humane way to do it. Nobody likes seeing dead hippos. Hippos look very cute and they're nice to take pictures of, but they're also just, I mean, they're very majestic creatures because we don't see a lot of them. But basically, people are concerned about them hurting the ecosystem with no real evidence that they are. But really, the question I have for you all is kind of just, do you think that they should be really concerned about concerned about them hurting the ecosystem? And if they are that concerned, then what do you think that they should do to control the population in a humane way?
I mean, I understand concerns about the ecosystem, obviously, but if there's not enough proof that they are disrupting it, I feel like everyone should just let them chill. Maybe if they did want to control it a little bit, put them in a reserve to a large piece of land that they can all just hang out in. Maybe be safe there and not from the ecosystem. But I feel like they should just chill. They're nice. I think they're cool animals.
It's a
Yeah.
very difficult situation, it seems like, but I think the thing that people have to consider more is that don't disrupt what their habitat is now over what the ecosystem could be. So I think if there's not a humane way to do it, you just got to let them be.
And I'm not sure their status on the endangered species list, but I feel like it would be one that might be, in danger for that. So I feel like if they are at risk of being killed all over the world, then they should let them repopulate a little bit and let their species grow a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. And they are raising the concern that they could be killing people that get too close because they're very territorial, but there haven't been any reported deaths from them. So a lot of the concerns they're raising kind of seem to be a little bit more just they're very like untangible things. You can't really find their impact, and really it's just it's an odd circumstance how they got there, but they are there now. And until there's any evidence really that they are doing significant harm to the region, then I don't think that they should be all that concerned about them.
Yeah, their status seems to be very vulnerable. I think their population has actually declined by 7 to 20%. So, with that information, I do think they should be saved, help them out a little bit, because there's so many animals that are endangered increasingly over the years. Um, especially in these countries like Colombia, where there's a lot of exotic animals already. But speaking of, international countries, let's travel to another one, New Zealand. They've actually been acclaimed as the best handling of the virus in the entire world, all thanks to their Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. She's recently won re-election in New Zealand because of how well she's handled the pandemic through very strict restrictions, a kind attitude, and very complacent citizens. So, Dan, I'll start with you. Why do you think New Zealanders listen so well to their leader?
I think that she kind of took charge and like really accepted that there was a problem and put that out in front of everyone, but also did it in a way that was more oriented towards what we're going to do about it instead of kind of just denying the problem until it got too big to ignore, something like that. She kind of just got in front of it, said, "This is what we're going to do." And I mean, the people obviously have a large amount of respect for her and what she's doing to like really step up and follow all the things that she put in place, because it did sound like they had some pretty strict restrictions at the beginning of all this, but then, I mean, by like the middle of the pandemic in the US, we were looking at those restrictions over here. So it was like she just did it at the right time, I think, and really didn't leave anything up to chance. So
Yeah, it seems like she really included her entire population and made sure that everyone was on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Trump did not do that with the U.S. and really split the public here. And some states not wearing masks, some states uh, wearing masks and distancing, and just seems like we didn't take the proper precautions. That's why we're looking at the situation where we are, and there, everyone was on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knew what they should have been doing, and that's why they're in the spot they're in.
Yeah, their country definitely seems a lot more unified than us. And I've actually seen um, some statistics that it seems as though women leaders are actually handling the virus better than male leaders. Not sure if there's much evidence towards that because, everything's so new right now. There's a lot more things to research, but it seems like a very interesting statistic considering she's doing the best out of every other leader in the world. So that's very interesting.
yeah.
She's tackling this pandemic amazingly, and I do wish that other leaders could, follow in her footsteps. For example, SUNY president Dr. Morris has recently resigned from the university in the middle of an outbreak on campus. Nate, could you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, so basically the outbreak started in mid-August, which is pretty early for some college campuses, but the students were sent home at the end of August before really the semester even picked up, with over 700 cases of COVID in on the campus. And the time of resigning is very suspicious, considering that the only excuse she made was that she wanted to explore other opportunities. Well, there is a pandemic going on, and your school just sent everyone home. So it's a very bad look, to say the least, that she's resigning now while all the students are at home and got infected with COVID.
So do you guys believe she actually resigned, or was she maybe pushed out or fired from the job? Uh, Dan, I'll start with you.
I mean, I think that it could be, I mean, it could be them giving her kind of like just the chance to resign gracefully and do that on her own terms. Or it could be the fact that the school just didn't want to deal with the embarrassment of firing her in the middle of all this, because it already sounds like they've dealt with enough bad publicity as is, with having to send all their students home and all the cases they've had. So I think that really it was more just a PR move, both for her and for the school, to kind of just make things a little bit, I mean, make her being fired a little bit less harsh, coming out to the public.
Yeah, and either way, I think that she didn't do it on her own. She didn't leave the school on her own. I think that either it was a mutual parting ways or she was fired. And you can just look at that no precautions were taken and that students could basically do whatever they wanted to right when they got to the school. There was no testing, and they tried to implement it later, but by then the virus had already spread. So really, you know, seems like she really didn't help herself there that much.
Sounds a little familiar. You or I not testing certain people until halfway through the semester. So, our last topic on COVID is about the upcoming chaos of Black Friday, which is one of the busiest days of the year. Thousands of people are rushing to get deals and savings from huge corporate stores, and Walmart has recently changed their plans for Black Friday by extending their sales weekends to 3 weekends. Some sales are going online, and they're reducing capacity in the stores. So, being one of the biggest corporations in America, um, do you guys think that Walmart shoppers will actually follow these Black Friday guidelines? Nate, I'll start with you.
I think it's going to depend on the person. There are people that don't want to go anywhere, don't want to take the risks, which is perfectly respectful opinion for them to do. So I think that they'll stay home, they'll do their shopping online. There's people who want to do their shopping in person, they don't want to change up their routine, so they'll go to the store in person, wear a mask. I think that they'll do whatever precautions that Walmart wants them to do, and I think that it's gonna be beneficial for everyone involved, whether you want to buy stuff online or go to the store. I think it's going to work either way.
Yeah, I definitely think that people definitely need to be cautious around that now this year, and definitely take more advantage of that Cyber Monday holiday.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's just the fact that stores won't really be able to do the Black Fridays that they're used to, with everyone like piling over each other and scrambling for TVs and everything. And I mean, they end up selling out a lot of stuff in those years. And I mean, I hope that them not being able to do that this year and really like sell so much that they're running out of items. Like, I hope that doesn't motivate them not to follow the right precautions. But I really think that the stores that want to keep a good public image will try to do at least modify their policies for Black Friday and try to make things a little bit more COVID friendly. Even though I suppose the majority of the public won't do much on Black Friday. I'm not planning on doing anything on Black Friday, going shopping anywhere or anything like that. It's too big a risk for me.
Yeah, I
Good.
personally I do shop at Walmart just because cheap, cheap deals, cheaper than all other grocery stores, like Stop and Shop around here. Um, so I personally go, and I've experienced a lot of interesting people at Walmart more than any other stores. Yeah, interesting people. I'll leave it at that. Are you guys Walmart shoppers, and have you also experienced these interesting people who might cause some issues at Black Friday?
I don't really go to Walmart that often. I just went today actually, but really, I go to Target more. There's a Target closer to my house. Stop and Shop. So I'm not a frequent Walmart shopper, but I go occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a frequent Walmart shopper either. I'll usually just do my grocery store runs, and if I need something like that I want to find on the cheaper end, I'll probably go to Walmart as long as it's not like a clothing item or anything like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, I definitely know what you mean. I haven't had that many encounters with these Walmart people in person, but I have seen a lot of the social media that surrounds it. And I think that they definitely do have a customer base that encompasses a lot of people. So I think that the odds of meeting someone doing something weird in a Walmart is just higher. But I don't, I'm not sure if those people have a particularly high impact on like whether or not they can implement the policies that they need to. But I definitely think that people are going to be the main issue in implementing the policies they need to, no matter what, whether it's like people that are just weird doing stuff in Walmart, or if it's like just people fighting the whole COVID war still that we've somehow created and making everything a debate and not wanting to wear a mask or social distance or anything like that.
Yeah, it'll
I think
definitely be
it's
interesting.
definitely a good foresight from Walmart to tell us now that they want to implement this instead of like right before or not saying anything at all, because then you'd have those big lines stretching out. And if there's any year to not do that, it's this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like some other like corporations should probably do the same. Just be like, by the way, it's gonna be different, so that maybe people will be like, oh, like a little realization that like, oh, maybe Black Friday is a bad idea in public this year. But we'll see. It's an impending doom, kind of, to see, because considering it's such like a commercial and American holiday, and America's very divided, as we've been talking about. So it'll be interesting to see everyone's reactions and what they actually do. I'm personally interested to see probably the social media videos of just like probably the usual Black Friday chaos and fights and everything. But yeah, we've talked a lot about COVID today and even about some hippos. So very interesting topics today. I thank everyone for watching. I'm Rachel with Dan and Nate, and we will see you guys next week.